Do you have plantar fasciitis? Have you been told you have it? Did you look it up because you might have heel pain or arch pain, right? And the chances are probably. So let's talk about it. So plantar fasciitis is is a pain that generally comes from the plantar fascia. Plantar fascia, plantar meaning foot, fascia meaning fascia. Fascia is like a type of, there's muscle, ligament, tendon, fascia. Fascia is just a sheath of like a small, thin muscular tendon that runs on the bottom of your foot here. It runs from the base of your heel and then runs the arch of your foot. Its common goal, or what it does, is it actually creates a strong foundation so that when you go to push off when you're walking, it gives you a nice lever to push from. If you do not have the plantar fascia, the foot collapses, it rolls in, and then what it does is then your ankle is very mobile in that direction. And all of the bones in the center of your foot here towards the front, they are able to roll and move, if you see that, right? But if we go ahead and go the other direction, it actually locks out, and those joints don't move anymore. And so the goal of the plantar fascia is to create tension there so that those bones can lock out and help you push forward. If you don't have that, then the bones are going to be very mobile, and then that plantar fascia actually has to work harder. So the reason why people get plantar fasciitis or itis, at the end of that word, itis, is a inflammatory. That means inflammation, and it usually just means that you overuse something. And typically, that overuse, in this case, this tendon, plantar fascia, is because there are either mobility deficits or range of motion deficits in one area, or you have strength deficits in one area, or it's just how you're moving. So let's go through that. Um, One of the things that you can have that causes you to have plantar fasciitis, having tight calves. Now, this is the thing, though. People will stretch their calves. They've been told to go ahead and lean up against the wall. And I'll show you right now what I mean by that. So, when you are stretching, most people would probably tell you to go up against a wall or a tree, and then you're going to keep that back leg back, and then you're going to push that heel into the ground, and you will feel a calf stretch. I have tight calves. I am kind of more so a kind of a toe walker, so I can have this, heel pain, plantar fasciitis a little bit if I am not careful. So this does do a calf stretch. If I bend my knee, now I'm getting the soleus, which is the deep inner part muscle of the calf. So I do feel a calf stretch here. However, when you are walking and you are bringing yourself forward, if you bring that foot, if that foot collapses inward when you're walking, that means that that muscle, the plantar fascia, there's putting more tension on it, and it's having to work harder. So what we need to do is we actually need to stretch out the other part of our calf muscle by we're going to put our foot down on the ground. You're going to reach that other foot across your body, so away towards towards the leg that you are stretching, or the leg that's back, and you're going to just lean into that tree, and you should feel this, and it's kind of almost in the outer part of your calf. All right, so you'll feel that one on the outer part of your calf. And what you can do to get it more is you actually take that foot and you're going to kick the heel out, because what we're doing when we're walking the other way and our arch is collapsing, our heel goes in. See that? So if my heel kicks in, then my foot can roll over and collapse, and that's what's making that plantar fascia work harder. So what we want to do is we actually want to kick the heel out, which allows us to do more of a firm lever and take some pressure off the plantar fascia. So that's what you're doing here. You're kicking the heel out, you're reaching across, and then you're getting a nice deep stretch in your calf. And that will probably take most of this pain away. And so you need to do that at least once a day or up to multiple times a day, up to, shoot for 30 seconds to 2 minutes at a time, and then do a couple bouts of those. So we'll say, in the morning, you do 2 times of a minute, so you get a total of 2 minutes. And then at night you do, a total stretching time of 1 to 2 minutes as well. And you do that multiple times per day to stretch out those calves. And you do it on both sides, not just the side that you hurt or you feel the pain on. So that's step number one. You could also do, you'll see people using cork massage balls or that sort of thing, going in there and massaging the calves. Those are more temporarily fixes. They're not going to fix you long term. The best thing for you to do is do that stretch. You also will probably see on the internet, which is not the right thing to do for plantar fasciitis, is to use a cork massage ball on your calf or a water bottle, that sort of thing. Once again, it can help with short-term relief and treatment, but if you're looking for long-term solutions, putting a cork massage ball on here, massaging the crap out of the plantar fascia. I even have seen people telling you to take your toe and pull this up. That's stretching your plantar fascia. That's something that's already inflamed. If you have plantar fasciitis, it's already inflamed. You're probably going to make your pain worse by doing that. So I would not do that either. What I would recommend is, it's always good to just go ahead and move your toes, just get them moving. That's not necessarily a solution for plantar fasciitis, but it's just a little quick tip that a lot of people don't have mobile toes, and that's just something to work on. So we talked about the calf being the primary cause of your plantar fasciitis, and typically that is the case. However, there are other things that can cause you to have it. And so, especially when we are loaded up with a heavy backpack, that sort of thing for backpacking and hiking, our biomechanics, or how our body is positioned, really creates change down at the foot. So when we are wearing our backpack and all that weight is loaded on our hips, if our hips are weak, our knees might roll in a little bit. When we roll in, you can see that what's happening there is that foot is rolling in, creating more pressure on the plantar fascia. So imagine you are hiking and these hips are getting weak. They're not able to support you. Now the foot is taking the brunt of it. So what's happening here is you're actually showing weakness in the glute medius muscle. So glute medius is a muscle on the side of your hip right here. So we have the minimus, maximus, and medius muscles. Maximus is the big one that you see. Medius is the one that's kind of right on the side of your hip. If you feel on your hips, you kind of feel where it kind of caves in a little bit, where it feels like a little bowl going in. That's where your glute medius is. Okay, so when you do the kick to the outside, you should feel it right there, right in that little bowl. And so if you are weak, what I want you to start doing, you can either lay on the floor and start trying to kick up, or you can find us, if you're out on the trail, or if you are in a gym or something, find a wall or a tree. And what you're going to do is, say I want to work my left side here, I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to push my hip into the tree. So I'm swinging it up into the tree, and what it looks like is this. So you're swinging it up into the tree. So if you're standing right up next to the tree, you can actually push your hip into the tree or the wall. Now, the reason you're doing that is because when that glute medius is weak, that hip kicks out when you're walking. So if I were stepping and that hip is weak, it actually bows out. Instead of, what should happen is, when you step on that foot, your hip should go down on that side and let you swing through with the other. But what happens is, this is called Trendelenburg gait, by the way. If you step and that hip is too weak, it gives out. And now you're going to have a weird biomechanics on that side, because now you're going to have to try to swing that leg through. And you will oftentimes see people that have back pain or that sort of thing where, man, I just hurts all the time. I don't know why. You watch their walking and the hip just gives out every step. So it's common through hikers, backpackers, and just everyday life. So we really need to strengthen that glute medius, because that is a cause for a lot of people's back pain, and then it can also cause plantar fasciitis and foot pain. So the last thing I want to talk about is, we talked about the bottom of the chain, we talked about the middle of the chain. The top can also be affecting your plantar fascia and all of your foot. So anytime we are doing rotation, so if you stand and rotate, so if I rotate left, now my right side is going to be rolling in. See that? If I go the other way, my left side rolls in. And so the reason, now we don't want you to stop rotating. That's not the key here. But what we want you to keep in mind is that, say you are somebody that can roll left but not roll right, you might be throwing off your biomechanics at the foot. And so what's important to do with this, and I would show you on the wet, I'm not going to lay on the wet ground, but you're going to lay on the ground and you just roll left and you roll right. And what I want you to do is, I want you to start with leaving your feet like this and just roll your upper body, right? So you're laying all the way flat on the ground, not on a stump or not sitting up like me, but laying flat. You're rolling just your upper body. You're leaving your legs where they are. And you're going the other way. And for me, I cannot rotate right for some reason. So if I can't rotate right, then what that means is that I might not be getting a good balance between my rotation at my feet, both directions. So this one actually might be lacking some, which I believe it is. My left foot is generally the problem. So, so a couple things to keep in mind. Your plantar fascia, you don't need to stretch it out, and that's not why it's painful. It's painful because of a couple other things: your calf being tight, your glute medius on the opposite side of where you have pain. So if your right foot is the one that hurts, generally the left side will be the one that's weak. But I will tell you this: if you're going to be strengthening glute medius, do it on both sides. Do not just do it on one side. It is, like I said, a common cause of pain for most people. And one thing that you can do to eliminate so many things, so many injuries, is strengthen the glute medius, especially being a hiker. When we are having loaded hikes, loaded packs on for long extended hikes, think about it. You're taking steps forward. You're stepping up onto steps, big ledges, big rocks all the time. And when you're doing that, this leg has to support you. So if it doesn't, bam, it gives out, and then now you have your foot rolling in. So when we are hiking, this is a very, very important muscle to strengthen. So if you're interested in checking out how to strengthen it, go ahead, do that one exercise. Otherwise, there are more. We'll be showing them in more videos. As always, please like this video if you liked it. Comment below if I missed something, or if you liked what I talked about, want to know more, or subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.